Hi everyone, Grandma Lou is back and we're gonna make an easy peach cobbler. I'm actually gonna triple this recipe to feed about 20 to 30 people taste test today for a class that I have later on. And essentially we're gonna start out with making the filling first. And so we're gonna preheat our oven to 375 degrees. And I'm using a, I want to say it's an 8 by 11 pan, and I've sprayed the pan already with some chef's light cooking spray. Is olive, sunflower, and avocado oil. And so I lightly sprayed the pan. And so first we're going to take our cornstarch. The original recipe only calls for 1 tablespoon, but because I'm tripling the recipe, I'm actually going to use 3 tablespoons of cornstarch to 6 tablespoons of water. So the original would have been 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to 2 tablespoons of water. And essentially we're just going to stir that up and make like a slurry, and that's what our peaches will actually cook in later. But the cornstarch and water mix will allow for we'll need to set to make this slurry, or the thickening agent. And you can just see just stirring it up, and I'll let it set. Once I get it all stirred up, so we'll let that set. And in a pan on medium to high heat, we will add our peaches that we've drained. And then additionally, we've reserved in the recipe at least 1 tablespoon of the juice, but because I tripled, I'm actually reserving 3 tablespoons. And so we'll go ahead and pour that on into the pan as well. And then in addition, we're going to add lemon juice, and the lemon juice is going to be 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. The original recipe called for 1/2 tablespoon, so we're doing 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then while that's heating up on the medium to high heat, I'm just going to give it a little stir and let it come to a little simmer. And then we'll let that simmer for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and add our seasonings. All right, so the peaches have began to simmer, and so we're going to go ahead and add the 1/8 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, as well as 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and 1 teaspoon of almond extract. So I have everything already measured out here. So this is the salt and the cinnamon that I'm adding here. And then in addition, I added my 1 teaspoon of almond extract and mixed it with my vanilla. And so we're just gonna go ahead and pour that in. And then lastly, I have 2 tablespoons of maple syrup that I'm gonna add. And then lastly, I am going to pour in 1/4 cup of sugar. And let that come to a simmer. Okay, so now our peaches have simmered for about 5 minutes, and we're going to add the cornstarch and water and allow that to cook for a few more minutes. And then while that's cooking, we're gonna mix together our topping. And our topping is actually made with a pre-mix. You're probably familiar with Bisquick. So we're gonna use Bisquick. And originally, if I was just making, like 1 batch, but again, I tripled the recipe. So instead of 1 cup, I'm using 3 cups of the Bisquick. And this is the Bisquick mix here. And I have 3 cups measured out. And to go with that 3 cups of mix, we're going to add 3 cups of almond milk. And then additionally, if I was using just the one batch, I would have used 3 tablespoons of applesauce. but I'm tripling, so I did 9 tablespoons, or more like 1/4 cup, so you can see the applesauce. So we're mixing all of that, and that is going to be our topping. So, and the way that we'll bake it in the oven on 375 for a full hour. So essentially we'll put our peaches in the pan, and then we will pour the baking mixture on top, and it will bake for a nice crust. Now we have poured our peaches. They are thickened a little bit and they're cooled down. So now we're ready to pour our batter on top, and then it will bake in the oven for about an hour. And so we're just going to evenly pour it over. We're not going to mix it because we just want it to bake on top. And so it'll be like a soft cakey crust, if you will. So we will come back to show you the finished product. All right, so the peach cobbler has finished. I just pulled it out of the oven, and as you can see, it's nicely baked. And just like that, another healthy treat, amazing drink, or something to eat from Grandma Lou's. Make sure you comment, share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, bye.